My wife shared a list of my flaws with her friends, so I emptied the apartment, froze the bank account, and filed for divorce while she was on vacation. I'm not the type to air dirty laundry on the internet, but lately, I felt like the only way to stay sane is to share what happened. I'm 35, living in Denver, Colorado. My wife, Alyssa, 32F, and I have been married for 6 years. Or rather, we were married, until recently. On the outside, our life looked picture perfect. Nice house, decent cars, good jobs. I work in tech, she ran a boutique online business. We met at a networking event in Austin, Texas, hit it off, and dated for a year before getting married. She was charming, stylish, a little high maintenance but fun. I loved her. At least, I thought I did. The first few years were fine. She had a taste for the finer things, designer clothes, luxury skincare, expensive weekend getaways. But I figured, hey, I'm earning well, why not? I didn't notice then, but slowly, the scales started tipping. I was paying for everything. Even when she made a sale from her store, the money went into her private account. My paychecks covered rent, groceries, her shopping, her salon appointments, and the multiple streaming subscriptions she never watched. Then, 3 months ago, something shifted. She became distant. Snappy. I assumed work stress, so I tried being supportive. I started cooking dinner, doing laundry, leaving little notes in her bag. But she didn't care. One evening, she forgot to log out of her iCloud on the family iPad. I saw a notification from her group chat pop up, the group name. Girls only, no judging. I wasn't going to snoop, but the message preview said, "He's seriously useless. I don't even know why I married him sometimes." I opened it. There it was, a full list she'd shared with her friends. A list of my flaws. Not just a passing comment, but an actual bullet point list like some twisted roast session. He wears the same sneakers with every outfit. He makes dad jokes in public. It's embarrassing. Still hasn't paid off his student loans. Lame. Too nice. Like, annoyingly nice. Has no real ambition. Just happy being average. Would probably cry if I left. He's soft like that. There were more. Screenshots. Jokes. Emojis. They all laughed. One of her friends wrote, "Girl, you could do so much better. Milk him dry and bounce." And Alyssa replied with a laughing emoji and said, "Don't tempt me." That broke me. I just sat there, staring at the screen like someone punched the air out of my chest. I felt humiliated. Betrayed. Used. Over the next few days, I pretended everything was normal. But inside, I was planning. Not revenge out of hate, but revenge out of principle. Because I realized something very important. She didn't love me. She loved what I provided. So I started gathering documents. Screenshots of those texts. Bank statements. Proof of all the payments I made. From her new iPhone to the designer bag she claimed was a gift from a client. I spoke to a lawyer friend, discreetly. Colorado's divorce laws are fair, especially if you have documentation. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed her to think everything was still fine. I needed her to let her guard down, to keep spending, keep showing her true colors. Then, one day, she asked for something ridiculous. "I found this beach villa in Tulum. My girls are planning a trip. Can you cover the flights? I'll pay you back after the boutique sale clears." I smiled and said, "Of course." But that villa? That was going to be her last vacation on me. So Alyssa was off to Tulum, bags packed with new swimsuits, fake laughter, and overpriced skincare I paid for. She kissed me goodbye like everything was perfect. I smiled back, just as fake, but inside I was already 10 steps ahead. What she didn't know was that I had frozen our joint credit card 3 days earlier. The payments for her flights and hotel declined at the airport. Her face, I can only imagine. I didn't answer her first few calls. Let her sweat a little. When I finally picked up, she was in full meltdown mode. "What the hell, Josh? The card got declined." I had to call Jenna's boyfriend to book my ticket. "This is humiliating." I calmly said, "Oh, really? Must be some issue with the bank. I'll look into it when I have time." Then I hung up. Now, I know some people reading this might think that's petty, but let's be honest. I had been funding her lifestyle for over half a decade. She made fun of me behind my back, planned her life as if I were a disposable wallet. No, this wasn't petty. This was justice warming up. She spent the next few days in Tulum, pretending everything was fine for Instagram, even while blowing up my phone in private. I didn't reply. She posted bikini selfies with captions like, "Healing energy only," and "Surround yourself with those who lift you up." Meanwhile, I was finalizing paperwork. I quietly moved half of our savings to a new personal account, the exact amount I'd calculated I had put into the marriage over the last 2 years. Rent, utilities, her luxuries, all documented. I also moved out of our apartment and into a short-term rental. Told the landlord I was breaking the lease early and had legal backing. He wasn't thrilled, but once I showed him the texts and explained I was the sole leaseholder, he didn't argue. She'd be coming back to an empty apartment. But the cherry on top? Remember how I said she ran a boutique business online? Well, turns out she never filed proper taxes. I found her client records in a shared Google Drive and flagged a bunch of under-the-table transactions. I didn't report her yet, but I made copies and stored them safely. Insurance, in case she decided to play dirty in divorce court. On the 4th day of her trip, she called again. This time, her tone had changed. "Josh, what's going on? Why are you being like this?" I replied, flat. "I read your messages, Alyssa. I know what you think of me. I know you never planned to stay." There was silence. Then she tried to deny, then cry, then blame me for invading her privacy. "Do you know how violated I feel? Do you know how stupid I felt reading that you think I'm just your soft little bank account?" I snapped. Click. She hung up. Good. I filed for divorce the next morning. Sent the papers to her hotel via express courier. She received them the day before flying back, which must have made her final mimosa taste real bitter. When she got home, she found the apartment empty. No furniture, no fridge, no TV, not even her fake houseplants. Just a printed copy of her list on the kitchen counter, with one new bullet point added at the bottom. Alyssa came back to an apartment that echoed. No couch, no TV, no trace of our life. Just walls and that piece of paper with her little roast list, the same one she'd sent to her friends, now with my handwritten bullet at the bottom. He finally grew a spine. She tried to call. I didn't pick up. Instead, I watched from the security camera I'd forgotten to take down, her pacing around the living room, yelling into her phone. Maybe at me, maybe at her girls, who no longer seemed to be replying to her. Funny how people vanish when the money does. That night, she sent me an email. A long, guilt-trippy wall of text titled, "You took it too far." She said I humiliated her, overreacted, and made her look like a fool. Said she was venting with friends, and that the list wasn't serious. Even said she was just starting to love me again. I didn't reply. The divorce had already been filed and was moving fast. My lawyer made sure we had every financial trail documented. We filed a wasteful dissipation of marital assets clause, basically saying she'd spent thousands of dollars not on the marriage, but on herself. Thanks to her vacation receipts, spa appointments, and shoe addiction, the court sided in my favor. She ended up walking away with almost nothing. Her boutique? Still operational, but guess what? The IRS finally came knocking. Maybe someone reported her after all. Maybe karma did. I heard from a mutual friend that she had to sell off her designer handbags to keep the business running. She even moved back in with her parents in Ohio, the same ones she used to complain were too basic to visit. Now, let's not pretend I'm some mastermind or saint. I'm not. I was a fool for years. I ignored the signs. I thought love meant sacrifice, and maybe it does, but not when the other person's sharpening the knife behind your back. The truth is, Alyssa never wanted a partner. She wanted a lifestyle. And once the lifestyle got inconvenient, she turned me into a walking wallet with a punchline attached. But people like that, they always get caught in their own reflection. After the dust settled, I found peace. I bought a modest condo, got a dog, and focused on myself for the first time in years. I even reconnected with old friends I'd stopped seeing because Alyssa thought they were low energy. Turns out, they were just genuine people. I didn't write this for sympathy. I wrote it because I know someone reading this is probably in a similar spot, making excuses for someone who doesn't respect them. If that's you, hear me out. You don't have to stick around just because you built a history together. You're allowed to walk away. And sometimes, walking away is the revenge. Oh, and one last thing. Remember how she mocked me for being too nice? The woman I'm seeing now says it's her favorite thing about me. She's not wrong, but I'm not stupid nice anymore. Now, I'm nice with boundaries. And that's the kind of list I can live with. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.